Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Atlanta in all three series for Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. And here you see the news coming into this one. We had our first driver of the day, which went to Matt Tifft after the subscriber vote from last night. He won his first career race at the Daytona 500 after holding off big names in the final laps. Truex carries his momentum through Daytona with a second place finish. Kyle Larson had the first DNF of the season. Will his past struggles continue? And then obviously myself there, we went from 38th to 3rd, so a very solid finish for us. But here we are in the Truck Series for Atlanta, where we had now Greg Biffle in the truck, and like I said, it was going to be split between Hailie Deegan and Greg Biffle throughout the regular season, and whichever one kind of performs the best is who we're going to have as our playoff driver if we make it to the playoffs. Now, as we come straight through to the end of this race, though, for Greg Biffle, he had actually worked himself up to P5 throughout this race as he came through out of turns 4, so a very solid debut with a strong truck in Atlanta. As I said, Daytona was going to be a throwaway anyway, so a very strong effort from Greg Biffle gets us P5, and now we come to the Xfinity Series race where we had a fairly decent starting position. We qualified P12 with subscriber Keegan Blaze Wagner in the car for us as he went down into turns 1 on the outside of Greg Galding. And once again, kind of like the Truck Series, we didn't have, the best qualifying effort, but we had speed once again. This is past the midway point of the race. Keegan had worked his way through the traffic and was making a pass for the lead here over Michael Annett. This is the first time our car had taken the lead since we had made this team, and sure enough, he would hold off the competition as he came through out of turns 4 down the front straightaway. Our first win as an Xfinity team here from subscriber Keegan Blaze Wagner. So a great effort for us here in Atlanta. We finally win, and now our team will be locked into the playoffs here in the Xfinity Series. So now we come through, though, to qualifying in the Cup Series at Atlanta as I came through to cross the line with a 29.421. We qualified about the same as we did in Trucks and Xfinity, P14, and that will set us up pretty decently for this race here in the Cup Series. There you see Kyle Busch in P11 and Kyle Larson on the pole here for the Atlanta.
Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the running of the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. This is a 1.5-mile oval and a very popular stop for the fans and a handful for the drivers. Let's head on down to the track and get set to go racing.
Alright, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kyle Larson's car is really fast today, so look for him to be very strong and maybe hold on to that lead as BJ McLeod. He is starting at the back after failing technical inspection now as we're ready to go green here at Atlanta at the 1.5-mile, our first 1.5-mile race of the season. Once again, in the Aris paint scheme, the Haas paint scheme, will be back in the next episode at Las Vegas now as we're ready to go green as the green flag is officially out, and we are underway here in Atlanta. William Byron up our inside here as we come through to start this race. Can Kyle Larson get his first win of our career mode? He obviously had the first DNF of the season last time out in Daytona, so unfortunate for him. I think he lost a tire to the travel. He went spinning in front of traffic, collecting the driver right behind us of Denny Hamlin in the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. So we'll see if Kyle Larson can turn things around here today in Atlanta with that car that's really fast from the looks of it now as we come through turns 3 on the outside of the 9 of Chase Elliott. A little bit of contact there on his door, but no harm done as we come through to complete this first in opening lap here. And Atlanta getting a little bit aggressive early on there, going 3 wide up the outside of Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott as we went down into turns 1. One of the kind of strange 1.5, it's really weird racing Atlanta in this game because you can just, for the majority, go full throttle around the whole track. So it's certainly a different animal compared to some other 1.5s. Now, as we had actually fallen down to P17 running this top lane, so I tried to get to the bottom and make some passes, got into the back of Austin Dillon, but sure enough, we would work our way up to P13, then up to P12, P11, passing William Byron, and now lap 6, we'd go up the inside of Eric Jones, and we were now fighting for a top 10 position as we came out of turns 4 coming through to cross the line. Keselowski in this battle as well. There you see the 37 of Chris Buescher, who is having a strong run very early on in this race. Last season, he was actually in the mix of trying to make it into the playoffs on points, so we know that 37 car has the potential. Now as we came through on lap 8, we had actually been running around Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney running P9, and we would get to the inside of Blaney going down into turns 3 to be able to make the pass on him as Kyle Larson at this point had continued to lead. He was starting to stretch out the gap a little bit now as we came through to turns 2 on lap 10. You see some smoke up ahead from our teammate of Clint Boyer, and this would bring out a caution as now we have our first Stewart Haas racing issues of the season. We would pit for 2 cans of fuel 4 tires and get ready to go right back into the action. Now as the green flag is back out and we restart P6 after overtaking Denny Hamlin on the pit lane. It's the 2 Ganassi drivers on the front row, Kyle Larson and Kurt Busch. And then we got Logano and Bowman, who's not having a very good restart now, as well as Kevin Harvick up here in the mix as we go down into turns 1 and through turns 2. We're going to get aggressive again, making it 3 wide with Bowman and Hamlin as we actually briefly get into the wall out of turns 2, but no damage done to the car, so we got a little bit of a break there on that one as we go down into turns 3. But these restarts in Atlanta are always very exciting and intense in this game. Now as Kyle Larson has actually given up the lead here on this restart to Joey Logano as he falls back to 4th. They're behind Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick as well as we go down into turns 1. So Larson completely choking the lead away here late in this first stage as we come through the center of the corner, as we would continue to run about P7 or so on the outside of Ryan Blaney. Now as we got sideways through the center of the corner, we made contact with Ryan Blaney and up into the wall we go. A little bit of contact with the wall. We got very lucky there to save from getting some major damage, so we come through straight to the final lap of the stage after trying to recover from that hit to the wall. We were down here in P13 but going up the inside of Austin Dillon now, and as well getting up the inside of Eric Jones, as we still might have a chance here to get stage points as we go down this back straightaway side by side with Eric Jones. As we go down into turns 3, we're going to be able to get back up to P10 thankfully before this stage ends as we come through out of turns 4 for the final time. Joey Logano would win stage 1 as we come through to finish P10 in the first stage here in Atlanta Motor Speedway. So a nice recovery there in the final laps as William Byron's up there getting some stage points. So nice for Byron. Larson recovered to P3. Kyle Busch up there in the mix, as well as we would pit again for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and hope that we come out here on the inside lane. I would make a slight wedge adjustment to make it a little bit tighter, but unfortunately we come out P10 on the outside. Kyle Larson actually won the race off of pit road, so he will lead the way to green here for stage 2. Now as the green flag is back out and we are underway, I feel like Kyle Larson kind of blew that second stage win away on a poor restart there, so unfortunate for him, but can he hold on to get the stage 2 victory? I don't know if Kyle Larson's ever won a stage in our career mode. He probably has. I would hope so by now as we come through turns 1. Not a good restart again for that outside lane. Jimmy Johnson gets up our inside. Jimmy Johnson both seasons has missed our playoffs in the Cup Series, so hopefully we can see him battling it out for a playoff position this season as we go down into turn 3, running that top lane, as well as Harvick and Byron were too as we came through the center of the corner. Now Chris Buescher, he gets clear of me. Truex gets to my left rear as we fight back on the outside of Buescher, though down the front straightaway. 17 laps to go here in the second stage, and you just see how much speed that 42 has got right now. He's certainly already starting to pull away a little bit there from his teammate Kurt Busch and Denny Hamlin as well. Now as we came through out of turns 2, getting up the outside of Johnson, as well as I would get to the outside of Eric Jones. We would pass him, and then we would get to P10, but couldn't quite run down the cars up ahead, and then we would actually get a caution though here again in stage 2. No one pitted, so we get right back into the action from the 10th position. Austin Dillon of our inside. Austin Dillon never has really been a factor to make it into the playoffs in our career mode in the Cup Series, so maybe he could turn things around this season as well. As we go down into turns 1, Bowman goes all the way up to the top, and I decide we're going to pounce on Harvick, losing the momentum. He might be a teammate, but we pounce on it and get past him, but we still didn't really gain anything. We're still P10 now as we would actually fight back up now the inside of Alex Bowman as we went down into turns 1 at lap 11, trying to make the pass on him as Kyle Larson continued to lead with less than 10 laps to go. Here in stage 1, side by side with the 88 of Bowman, we would get past him, we would get past Truex, we climbed up to P7 as we came through on lap 15 of 18, but Joey Logano had taken the lead back from Larson. So once again, late in the stage, Kyle Larson's kind of giving things up now as we had actually had some drivers starting to pit, Kyle Larson included now as we approached just 2 to go, and so all of a sudden we were in P6 simply due to the tire wear and drivers pitting. I decided to risk it like the others as we came through on this final lap. Only 3% on the right rear on this final lap in stage 2 as we went down into turn 3, so just hoping we can nurse it through the rest of the corner here without blowing a tire. Joey Logano will come through out of turns 4 to win stage 2 now as we go down this front straightaway, coming through to cross the line, and as soon as I crossed the line, the tire blew out. So that was certainly really lucky for us, but it actually did damage to our car when the tire blew out, so we were going to have to fix that damage. There you see 4 seconds of repair, 0% on the right rear. Joey Logano, though, with another playoff point. William Byron, P3, very solid for William Byron. We would pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and also repair the car and drop down to P12. Paul Menard up our inside now as the green flag is out, and the third and final stage is underway. One of the longer final stages here in the Cup Series. It's a good 37 laps to go for us, so definitely plenty of time. And you might notice, Kyle Larson, he pitted within 2 laps to go in stage 2, which means behind us he is starting in the back of the field. Basically, he got the lucky dog, I should mention, coming into the stage, as he was a lap down at the time of the stage end. So Larson has to go from all the way in the back to the front. Can he make it happen now as we go down into turn 3? Larson has had the fastest car all day, but he hasn't won any stages, unfortunately for him, now as we come through in P13. Stenhouse trying to get to our inside now as Jones is going to go way up the track right in front of us. I did not really appreciate that, so I gave him a bit of a shove down into turns 1 as you went into the corner there, as I was coming through with quite a bit of momentum, and Jones just drove right up in front of me and kind of cut the momentum right off. So I wasn't a huge fan of that, but what can you do now as we go down this back straightaway? Stenhouse up the inside as we went down into turns 3, but we would be able to hold him off and continue to rally through using this kind of middle to outside lane. We would climb up to P11 as we came through now on lap 51, actually making a pass on the 21 of Paul Menard as we came through the center of the corner. So we had re-entered the top 10, but Kyle Larson, actually we got to the wall there out of turns 2, but we would pass Menard, but Kyle Larson was flying through the field, and I should mention that because he was closing in on us pretty quick as we had passed Newman, and then we had been battling with Jimmy Johnson as we came through down this front straightaway. The caution once again comes out now as you can see the tire wear. Larson, like I said, he is already up to P19 at the time of the caution, so we would have to pit for 2 cans of fuel again, 4 tires, and I would actually put the wedge adjustment back down to what it was at the start of the race as we gained 1 spot on the pit lane. And I should mention we still cannot make it to the end of this race on fuel or on tires, especially with that right rear tire, so we will either need to make another pit stop under caution or a green flag pit stop. We're going to have to see what happens now as we go down into turns 1. The 4 kind of chops the nose of the 18 and checks us up now as Newman's back up the inside. Bowman not a good restart as well behind us. Alex Bowman has not had good restarts today. Every time we've seen something go wrong on a restart, it seems like the 88 car has been involved now as we go down into turn 3 up the outside of the 10 of Eric Almirola. Trying to fight back though on the outside as Kurt Busch leads away over second place of William Byron. Byron was the final car to make it into the playoffs last season, but he was actually eliminated in the first round, unfortunately for him, as he still looks for career win number 1 here and at the Cup Series, and he actually was able to get the inside of Kurt Busch. He briefly did take the lead, but then he would lose it, and then Denny Hamlin took it over now as on lap 63. The 42 had run us down, so I move over to the inside. I see how fast the 42 is, so I decide, okay, you can just go right on by, and I'll just follow you after you pass. And sure enough, we would pass Newman, we would get past Jimmy Johnson on the inside, climb up to P9, and then we were running down the 19 of Truex on lap 69. Nice. Going down into turns 3, we would be able to make a pass on the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., so climbing up to P8, but then we had to consider making pit stops because the right rear tire was pretty worn, fuel was low, but my tires were under 20%, so coming through, approaching 10 laps ago, I decided we were going to come through into the pit lane to make a green flag pit stop and obviously hope that we don't end up getting a caution here. We get down to the pit speed. It's so much easier getting onto the pit lane in NASCAR Heat 4 versus past NASCAR Heat games, but we took, I think it was, 1 can of fuel and 2 tires, so it was a quick 8.1 second pit stop that we were going to have, so no big deal now as we would exit the pit lane. And to my surprise, I should mention, some drivers took 4 tires, so that was a little concerning. I wasn't the only one that took 2, which was good because we come through out of the pit lane heading down on lap 74. Denny Hamlin had come out just in front of me. He took 2 tires as well, but all of a sudden, we find ourselves in a race for the lead because Bowman's on the pit lane. So this right here between myself and Hamlin, we're going to be racing for the first position as we come through to cross the line, but it was pretty evident Hamlin had more speed because within the next couple laps he had actually stretched out the gap, so we didn't really have anything for him. So all of a sudden we're holding on to P2 when we've been running 8th to 12th most of this race, and now we come to 4 laps to go, continuing to hold on to P2, but the caution comes out with 4 laps to go, which will force overtime and bring all the cars with 4 fresh tires right to our back bumpers for an overtime restart. A bunch of cars pitting like William Byron and Martin Truex. But now we're in quite a bit of trouble because I don't think myself or Denny Hamlin is going to come out of here in the top 5 at the end of this race. Now as overtime is underway, everyone behind us has 4 fresh tires. Logano and Kurt Busch both ready to pounce as we're side by side with Denny Hamlin. We've been in battles with Denny Hamlin for the lead before, including Bristol, but Logano, he's going to take us 3 wide into turns 1 for the lead, and now Logano goes from 3rd to now passing myself for the lead. We make a little bit of contact with the 22 and slide up the track, and now Kurt Busch is trying to hop on the opportunity, but can't quite I do so as we're side by side with the 11 of Denny Hamlin down this back straightaway towards turn 3, approaching the final lap here in Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now as Hamlin is trying to get to Logano now, as I just don't have the speed in the tires or the car. In general, there's a little bit of contact with the 88 of Bowman, struggling with the handling of the car. The tire icon's on for the left side tires now as we go down into turns 1 on this final lap here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. A little bit of contact again with the 88 of Bowman. We slide up the track and nearly get to the wall. We're sideways on the exit of the corner now as we overcorrect into the outside wall. Hard hit there behind Almirola Dillon and myself into the inside wall now as the caution's going to come out and end the race half a lap early here in Atlanta. We still get credited with a P10 finish out of it, but very unfortunate way to end things here in Atlanta. Joey Logano gets career win number 30, so a milestone here for Joey Logano today, but unfortunately that overtime was a complete mess for ourselves there as nothing went right on that restart, which was kind of expected. We still get P10 out of it, so I wasn't too disappointed. I said after the race, we had a solid car today, and I binned it at the end. It was pretty obvious. I just completely screwed up, and it was a mess in overtime, but Logano with career win number 30, so a milestone hit today for Joey Logano. How far will he get in our career mode? I don't know. I think maybe Logano could get to 50 career wins before this career mode is over, before NASCAR Heat 5, but you never know. We'll see what happens. But as always, if you guys did enjoy this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. You saw me there provoking a few drivers now, as I was a little bit frustrated at the end of that race. But in the next one, we go to Las Vegas for both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, and this is the one season kind of anniversary of the best NASCAR Heat race I've ever had in any NASCAR game, I should mention. If you missed that episode last season, I think it was like episode 64 or 65. Either way, Las Vegas from the spring last season. Yeah, I would highly recommend checking that out if you haven't seen it. Even the 704 was gracious enough to share it on their social media. So that was an incredible race, and hopefully we can have another one like that in next time out in Las Vegas. There's Byron and Johnson, the last two in the playoffs. So I will see you guys, though, in the next one for Las Vegas. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.